Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Gig Podcast. I'm your host, Mandy McCrane. I'm here with Kallie Terry, and she was actually one of the people I stopped and saw for several days on my trip. And so we're just kind of recapping my 43-day road trip, which was pretty fun. So how are you, Kallie?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing well. So it's good to be home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet. That was a long trip.
That was a very long trip, and I saw you kind of at the very beginning of it. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I'd only been on the road maybe a week when I got to see you. So
Mm.
that was pretty fun.
Yeah, it
But
was fun.
yeah. But yeah, so it was a very interesting road trip. I had planned on actually getting back tomorrow, Wednesday, but life circumstances, I did come back on Saturday, so a little bit early,
Mm.
but that's all right.
Yeah.
So, but Kelly had some
Mm.
questions she was going to ask me, so we'll see how
I
this
do.
goes.
All right. My first question is, why did you go to the trip with only $400?
So, flying on a wing and a prayer, basically. So
Hmm.
when I was planning the trip, I had actually set a bunch of money aside, but then I ended up needing to get new tires, new brakes, a new windshield, a new battery, a couple things on the car,
Mm.
just a few things on the car.
Just a
And
few.
then, yeah, just a few. And then I went ahead and paid my bills for the rest of June and then July and then a touch of no for May because I've been gone since May. So the rest of May, and then the month of June, and then a couple of bills for July. And so by that point in time, I was like, I'm kind of tapped. And God's like, go. How much do you trust me? Just go.
Mm.
And I'm like, all right, let's go. So I
Yeah, let's
went,
go.
and
Mm.
it worked out really, really well. So I have driven Uber now. Actually, while I was on the trip, I hit my 10-year mark with Uber, which is crazy. So I started driving for
Wow,
Uber when I was 38 years old.
that's
So I'm
crazy.
48 now. I'm like, gosh, dang. So so I drove Uber Eats because you can drive Uber Eats in any state except California. But you
Mm.
can only drive passengers in your home state. But so I drove Uber Eats, and then I had some massage clients, actually, your mom and some friends, and then a massage client in Florida. And so between
Yeah.
all of that, it all worked out. So
Wow,
yeah,
that's amazing.
it was pretty
Well,
cool.
what was the biggest surprise of your trip?
New York City at nighttime.
Ooh, that sounds really pretty.
It was so amazing. Like I was just standing there like in awe because I'd
Mm-hmm.
always dreamed of seeing the New York skyline at night.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, New York at night is not safe. I mean, obviously, like growing up on this side of the country, you hear about all the crime and everything else. But when I was over there, I had looked up online, like, is New York safe at night? And
Yeah.
everything I was reading was like, yeah, it's safe at night. Just don't be stupid. Like, don't go down dark alleys. Don't go to Central Park at
Yeah.
night.
Yeah,
And
don't do that.
yeah. And so I was like, okay, well, worst case scenario is if I get there, if I get like a weird feeling, then I'm just gonna go and I'll just go back during daylight hours. And I am so glad I went at night. So I got to see
Mm.
One World Trade Center at night. And they
Wow.
only light it up like the pillar of lights. That's only on September 11th when they do that each year. But it's
Mm.
still lit up. And there's water and it's all sparkly and everything. It's really pretty. And I got to see the Statue of Liberty from shore. So I did not go to Staten Island. So I'll have to go back and
Mm.
do that. And then I went over into Times Square. And Times Square was really cool. There was all kinds of people there for the World Cup. But I
Mm-hmm.
got to park one block from Central Park, or from not from Central Park, from Times Square, and walk. So everything, all the parking was free because it was after 7 p.m. So here we are in the
Mm-hmm.
middle of the night. It's like 12:15 in the morning when I'm at Times Square. And so I park
Yeah.
literally just on the sidewalk, a block from Times Square, walk in,
Mhm.
and just the excitement and energy and everything was phenomenal. It was so cool.
What day did you go to New York?
I have no
Like
idea.
sometime in July? Because
Sometime in July.
it was, I bet you it was packed there because of the 4th of July, like
It
the
was, and it was,
250.
it, because it was before that. It was,
Okay.
yeah. It could have been, but I think it was like a combination, maybe between Fourth
Hmm.
of July. Because so I was by the time it was Fourth of July, I was in Wisconsin. So,
Okay.
so it was probably like a week before that.
Yeah, that's not too
So,
bad then. You went at a good time.
yeah. So maybe 2 weeks before that. So I don't even remember. Most of the
Mm.
trip, I had no idea where I was or what day it was. Like I didn't know what state I was in. I was in the state of confusion most of the time, honestly. I'm like,
That's
I don't know
funny.
where I'm at. All I know is I'm just
Oh,
going. So I'd have to look at my
um,
GPS to like know where I was at. It was so funny.
that's fun.
Yeah,
That's
and
fun.
I had no idea what date it was. I kept having to look at the calendar to kind of plan. I had no idea what day of the week. I didn't know what day of the month. None of it. It was so
Wow.
so strange.
Mm. What was the funnest part of your trip?
Um, Riding an electric scooter through Washington, D.C.
Oh.
So, so here I am at my age, 48 years old, and I hop on a scooter and I
By
just go
yourself.
by myself, just go barreling through Washington, D.C. It was so fun. And they had a big thing set up there for the World Cup as well. So people
Mm.
like it was like a blocked off area, but you can go in. But there's people from all over the country and stuff. And I'm just zipping
Fun.
past people on a scooter. It was so fun, but it was so hot. And I'm like, and my feet
Mm.
were tapped. I walked an average of like 9 miles a day. And
That's
so
insane.
I was like, I don't want to walk at this moment. And so I scootered it.
That's
It was
fun.
fun. It was so fun. I
Oh
think
my gosh.
there was one point though, because they have like a thing you can set your phone on, so you can kind of
Yeah.
GPS, and you're on like the Uber app because it's the Uber scooters.
Yeah.
And at one point, it's like you're not supposed to be riding a scooter in this area. So then I just went faster. I'm like, I got to get through here. It was so funny. So, but I had fun.
Oh.
So,
What was the highest disappointment on your trip?
um,
Mm.
the biggest disappointment I think was, let's see, probably the phone calls that I got. Um, so there was some sad times. Like that was like the most disappointing times was um my uncle died while I was gone. My cousin was put on
Wow.
hospice, and then my son's future father-in-law passed away. And
Mm.
that broke my heart. So that has to be the most disappointing thing for the whole trip, as far as like life goes. Because it wasn't that it didn't um stop me from like doing what I needed to do on my trip. Because like the my son's girlfriend's dad that died, it happened right after I got to Wisconsin with my oldest son. And so, in my head, I'm like, okay, which kid needs me more?
Yeah.
And as a mom, you're just like, what do I do? And
Mm-hmm.
so, um, I am so grateful my daughters both stepped in, and
Mm.
and but that also showed me that if something ever happens to me, that my kids will be okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
disappointment, but also like it kind of it answered some questions within me too, for
Mm-hmm.
future. So my kids all stepped up and stepped in, and I was so grateful for that. But
Wow.
um, the other like as far as like the actual trip goes, the biggest disappointment for the trips and things I saw, I paid to go to
Mm-hmm.
the Everglades and didn't see a
Mm-hmm.
dang thing except for turtles. So
Aw.
I was in the Everglades for 6 hours, which are known for alligators,
Mm-hmm.
and I saw nothing. I was like,
Mm.
so, so that was a disappointment.
That's not fun.
No, not at all. So, yeah,
Mm.
but it was a fun day.
What? Yeah, I bet. I
Yeah.
bet. What was the reason for the trip?
So, after all of my kids moved out, like I've always wanted to travel.
Mm-hmm.
And God's like, okay, you're gonna get to travel. And I
Yeah.
was like, okay, that's cool, but like it wasn't lining up. Like the trip was not making sense to me. But God's like, you're
Mhm.
gonna go. And it was kind of a moment for me to just pause and kind of remove myself from my life to see my life,
Mhm. Yeah.
which was
Yeah.
huge for me. So, just kind of looking at my existence from the outside in, looking at home and how my kids are and everything else, but also getting to have this great experience where I got to see all these states that I've never seen before. And so now I've
Yeah.
seen 49 of the United
Mhm.
States, of the 50 states. I have one more to go. So, yeah, so
Wow.
that is being planned for the end of August to go to
Ooh, that's
Alaska.
fun.
So it'll take me,
Mm.
I think, 9 days that I'll be gone. So it's going to be 3 days there, or 3 days to get there, 3 days there to visit and sightsee, and then 3 days home. So
Okay.
that one I will not be driving Uber Eats or anything. I have to make sure I have the money set aside before I go for that one because I'll be
Yeah.
in a foreign country to get there. I have to go through Canada to get there. So
Mm.
yeah.
Hmm. Did anything unexpected happen on your trip other than the losses?
Um, Island chickens. I, that is still blowing my mind. So when I was down in Key West, there's island
Yeah.
chickens everywhere. And I had, yeah, that and then the price of Maine lobster. So when I went
Interesting.
to Maine, I had lobster and
Mm.
I had a pound and a half lobster. It came with an all-you-can-eat soup and salad bar and French fries and a drink for $29.
Oh,
I was like,
wow.
I I have paid more than that for a good steak dinner. Um,
Yeah.
that was shocking. I was just like,
Mm-hmm.
and the
That's
waitress is
insane.
like, you need to go back up and get more salad. I'm like, oh, I'm so full. Like, they won't fit. So
You're
it was pretty
sorry.
awesome. So
That's funny.
yeah,
Uh, did the trip change your perspective on anything?
yes. That's a great question. That's a tremendous question. So, you
Hmm.
know, my biggest takeaway from the whole trip was it's okay to be softer on myself.
Yeah.
I'm very hard on myself. I am my biggest critic. And
Hmm.
I push myself so much. I mean, I probably from the outside looking in, everyone thinks I'm like probably mildly crazy just because I'm constantly going, constantly doing things. And, and pushing myself to like
Yeah.
beyond what my limits should be. And especially as I'm getting older. And I was like, you know what? On this trip, because I realized my kids are good. I raised good kids. They are
Hmm.
phenomenal adults. And then being able to watch them and watch them with their kids, watch them with their partners, and know that they are good people. And I'm
Yeah.
so proud of them. And I am going to give myself credit. I did that. I raised them
Hmm.
and I worked my tail off and I failed a gazillion times, but
Yeah.
I raised them with love. And, they ended up being good humans. And so with that, it's allowed me to pause and realize I don't have anything that I have to strive for. I have goals, I have dreams, I have things I want to accomplish, but there is
Hmm.
nothing that I absolutely have to accomplish at this point in my life. So I get to be mom and grandma in the calmest, most present fashion ever.
Hmm.
And that is such a freeing, I can't even explain it. Like I get to be good to myself and
Yeah.
I get to love on my kids and my grandkids and be
Hmm.
present. And I've never really gotten to do that. There's always, I gotta do this. I gotta do that. I gotta, accomplish or pay or whatever. And now I get to
Yeah.
just simply be. And that is a
Hmm.
huge, huge thing that I've never gotten to do before.
Yeah,
So, yeah. So I'm
that
happy
is
about
true.
that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
What's one thing you learned about yourself?
I learned how resilient I am
Mm,
because I've known that I have been strong and resilient my whole life, but just truly how resilient I am because for the most part, I slept in my car on this trip.
yeah.
Okay, so I stayed the night with you guys for a couple nights.
Yeah.
And then I stayed in a total of three hostels. So I'd never experienced that
Mm.
before. Um, that was actually pretty cool. And I was like, I'm just gonna try it and see how it works out. And um, I probably won't do it again.
No.
I don't like being woken up, and so that was a learning experience. I paid for two
Mhm.
hotel rooms. Um, no, three hotel rooms because I did pay for a couple nights while I was with Dakota. And then the whole rest of the time, unless I stayed with some friends. So I stayed with some friends in Florida for a couple nights, um,
Mhm.
of Virginia a couple nights, uh, and then one night in Michigan, and then one night in South Dakota with a friend. And so other than that, so for the whole 45 days, I was basically in my car
Wow.
and I stayed at rest areas. And it's so strange because, like, on the West Coast, the rest areas are crappy bathrooms with
Mhm.
like flickering lights. And
Mhm.
that's really all the rest areas are. From like
Yeah.
Texas, like if you drew a line from like Texas north and south going east, all the rest areas are like food courts. So it has huge parking lots with hundreds of spaces. And inside is all these little restaurants, a 24-hour coffee shop, and then a gift store inside. And then there's a gas station like at the other end of the parking lot. But there's security and everything, and it's designed to stay the night there, to like sleep
Wow.
in your car or whatever.
That's nice.
And so that was shocking. And so I called it redneck bougie. I have a backseat air mattress that I had gotten on Amazon. It's
Mm.
designed for a car. And then I have a plug-in ice chest that I have used for years. I think I'm on my third plug-in ice chest now, I think, because I've had them for since the kids were little. But
Mhm.
yeah, so I was able to keep food cold without having to worry about ice because it just plugs into the cigarette lighter thing. So
Yeah.
yeah, so that was pretty cool.
That is nice.
Yeah.
I have one more question.
Okay.
What was the highlight of your trip? Mhm.
For one, seeing friends. I got to see old friends,
Mhm.
and that was fantastic. Um, and then getting to see my son.
Yeah.
So apart from getting to see everything else, I got to stop and see my son that I haven't seen in a year and a half. So that was really cool.
Hmm.
So
That is
yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Hmm.
Um, but there were so many things that I saw. I was talking to somebody and I was telling him about my trip and I was like saying where I was and then I just kept going. I was like, oh my gosh, I saw so much. I saw river dolphins in, I think it was in Georgia.
Wow.
Yeah, Savannah, Georgia. I got to see river dolphins. And then I got to see dolphins at the Chesapeake Bay. So I got to drive over the Chesapeake Bay. And
Wow.
when we went to Yorktown, it literally took my breath away. Like I started crying.
Mm.
We were standing there. So one of my friends lives over there, and so he and I had gone over to Yorktown. He'd never been there before either. And so you can go out on the battlefield, but then the
Mm.
cemetery is right there. And there's a sign up and I don't even remember the numbers, but I took a picture of it. But I think there was like 16,000 soldiers that died on the American and French side, or actually, just, yeah, it might just be at the American side, but American French um, battle, our
Mm.
side of things. Only 747 of them were identified. And
Wow.
so going through the cemetery, there is all these headstones that say, like, two unknown soldiers or four unknown soldiers, like buried in those
Mm.
spots. And that just broke me. I was just like, wow.
That's
Um,
sad.
it was. And so,
Mm.
because back then for the Revolutionary War, we had even 14, 15, 16-year-olds lying about their age to sign up for battle, you know?
Yeah.
And so a lot of these were just young kids. Most of them were young kids. Um, and then from there, like going over to Arlington National Cemetery in Arlington, over by Washington, D.C., and going to the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
And just watching them with the wreath laying and then the change of the guards. It was just so powerful. Just walking through Arlington, I was crying. And I was kind of getting
Mm.
mad. I was like, this is why you don't burn our flag, you
Yeah.
know? And so, and I just
Yeah.
kept saying it. I was like, and I was saying it out loud. I was like, this is why you do not burn our flag. Like,
Yeah.
because it was just rolling hills of headstones. So, of
Mm.
all military.
Wow.
So that was
Wow.
pretty cool. So, yeah. But yeah, 43
Wow.
days on the road. Crazy. I think the hardest part though was the last stretch. So when I left South Dakota, um, my friend Gunner, so huge shout out to my friend Gunner. That was the last stop I made before I hightailed it home. He gave me a like 3 lunch sacks of food, and
Mm.
it filled up my gas tank, and it sent me on my way. And from there, home was 1,309 miles. And I did it in one shot, except I did stop. I pulled over and slept for about 3 hours once I got through Yellowstone. Yellowstone gets dark very, very fast. And I'm sitting there driving like at 15
Mm.
miles an hour in the middle of the night, trying to get
Jeez.
through Yellowstone because I just knew something was going to jump out in front of me. And
Yeah.
I really wanted to stop and sleep, but because of all the food that was in my car, I was afraid to stop because of bears.
Mm.
I was like, I'm so gonna wake up and there's gonna be a bear in my car. So
Yeah.
I was afraid to stop. So I did make
Yeah.
it through Yellowstone and then made it into a town about an hour this side of Yellowstone and stopped for the night. That was crazy. So
Well.
yeah, and I just found a business that was closed and pulled in their parking lot, laid my seat back, and fell asleep. I was like, I don't even care at this point. But I almost hit an elk right before I got there. It was
Oh.
standing on the yellow line. And here I am
Mm.
going, 60 miles an hour down the road. And it is pitch black. And all of a
Yeah.
sudden I see his eyes reflect. And I was like, and
Ooh.
so I slowed down and stopped.
Yeah.
And and he literally like does an about face and goes like right in front of my car. I'm like,
Oh,
oh my
wow.
gosh. So
Dang.
yeah. That was pretty cool. So
That's scary.
it was. I was like, that woke me up for a bit. That's why I was able to drive an hour till I slept. Because I was
Yeah.
like, that got my blood pumping.
You're like, thanks, God.
Right. I was like, okay, that woke me up enough to get me a little further down the road. So, but
Yeah.
yeah. And then I made it home like
Wow.
at 9:30 in the morning, and went to straight to where my son was at and saw him. So
Mm.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, so pretty cool. But the
That
trip
is
was
cool.
totally worth it. A lot of hours with God, just talking. Honestly, the 1,300 hours home, I didn't even play music. I just talked to God the whole way, and
Wow.
just because I was having a lot of emotions over Amaya's dad's death,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
just I was mad for the first time in my life. I was mad at God, and God just took me
Mm.
through this whole trip, and I was
Yeah.
so mad at him, and I was like, why?
Yeah.
and and we had a lot of conversations, so I'm grateful for that. um but yeah, this trip was a complete walk of faith, and all of it ended up working out so beautifully. I'm so glad. So yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yep.
amazing though.
Yep. So, and I'm looking forward now to my next trip, which is gonna, well, I have a trip. I actually already have plane tickets, so I am headed, I'm headed to California and then to Washington and then back, but I'm flying on this one.
Yeah.
Um, and then I'm headed to Alaska. So
Wow.
yeah,
When are you going to California?
Monday.
Oh. All right.
So 'cause I already knew I was only going to be home for like a week and then gone
Yeah.
again. And
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful. My daughter asked if I would come babysit my grandkids in Washington. So I'm like, I totally volunteer as tribute. So I'm gonna go for
Trip
that.
on the way.
So yeah. So I'm gonna go see my cousin, the one that was placed on hospice. So I'm gonna go see him and then see my parents and some friends and then fly on up to Washington and then fly home. So, and actually it's cheaper for me to fly right now. I was able to get pretty cheap flights. So that'll
That's
save me
good.
the stress of driving at this moment. Because after 43 days in the car, I'm kind of cooked.
Yeah, I bet.
So, but I did hit my 10-year mark with Uber, which was pretty cool. I didn't get a dang thing from them, but
Mm.
I got a congratulations on the app. Other people have said they've gotten like a package that had like all these congratulations things. I'm like, "Psh, I didn't get nothing." I'm like, that's fine. It's fine.
That's sad.
I know. I'm like, come on, Uber, like step
Yeah,
up.
seriously.
But that's okay. But it was pretty
Have
cool.
some
So
patience.
diamond driver, 5-star driver, 10 years. I'm like, hey, yay me.
Hey.
I'm still driving Uber in school.
Yeah, you're like, I just did a 43 or whatever
I
day
know.
trip
I
and
totally gave
I
them
don't
a
get
huge,
nothing.
right, and I give them a huge shout out on TikTok too. And I get like,
Yeah,
I'm like, thanks,
that
Uber.
that's
It's
not
fine,
fun.
right? It's all right. So they're still paying me to drive, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all
Wow.
right. Any other questions for me?
I don't think so. I think we covered the
I
whole
think that
thing.
covers all of it. And I have seen all 49 states because I
Mm.
used to live in Hawaii. And I am planning a trip for next year for kind of the center states. And I do want to go back to a couple places that I really enjoyed on this trip. But I have some more friends that I want to go see that were kind of more inland. So I'm going to make it a point to go see them. Come back out and see you again too. So
Yeah, that'll be fun.
definitely. So.
Hmm.
All right. Well, it's been fun. But yeah.
Yes,
And I'm so
yes.
grateful I got to come and see you.
I know, me too.
Yeah. So
You have to come back.
I will be out soon. We're
Hmm.
planning that. So
Yeah.
probably in September.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
Me too. All right. Well,
Yeah.
thank you everybody for joining in on the wrap up of my adventure. And we'll see you next time on the podcast. Love you guys. Bye, Cal.
Bye.